I know you've did things with Brian Cockerill and people like that who's been friends in the past. Brian's very like a friend of mine, and I knew him off the earlier days, like when he used to come up to Sunderland to see us then, you know.
Yeah. How'd you get on with Brian?
I get on really well with Brian. I got introduced to Brian, a friend called Tomo, when we were working in the rave clubs. He said me and Brian would get on like a house on fire, you know, and I met him, and soon we met, we hugged and we got on, and we became friends after that, you know, and still remain friends today.
I get on well with Brian. I like Brian. And you did the door with him, didn't you, as well? Did the doors?
Well, Brian was always there to back us up sometimes. If he heard I was in trouble, he'd come up with a few of his lads, and I mean, Brian sort of stuck out like a sore thumb then. He was a bit of a big lad, you know, and but great lad though, great personality, and but I love Brian a bit.
And he was very handy to have on your side.
He was, you know, he was a very strong lad, you know, and even people around him who knew that Brian, you know, well, they talked about his fights and they told us about Brian, how strong he was, and actually watching him hitting the bag once, I remember he hit the bag with a right hand, and he didn't have to chop into it with his right hand, and there was some power behind that punch, and you know, he was just a lad. I've never known Brian to get beat off anybody, to be honest. He always stood his ground with everybody, and you know, even when teams of people have jumped him, I've actually spoken to some of the lads who was in a room when Brian had a fight, and with them, they like set him up, and one of the lads says he got hold of him by the neck, and he says Brian, as he got on by the neck, was driving the radiator off the wall, you know, to use it as a battering ram to push them off and things like that. So he stood his ground then, but I think it got a little bit out of proportion after that. It was, the gangs were well, you've got to understand, there was a lot of people who
wanted to get weapons and stuff,
and into that kind of things. And I mean, I respect the people like Brian who's not frightened to stand up and have a go on, like say yourself. You know, your stories about Lee Duffy, which is Brian Cockeril's friend. We already spoke about Lee. Lee walked into a bit of a thing where how he lost his life, you know. Brian sometimes used to go into people's houses so when he didn't get shot.
He says that himself, he's lucky to have survived.
So when he didn't, because the things he used to get up there, I mean, you're taxing people who's into drugs, and I've seen a lot of people in prison for murder, for people who couldn't tax them. In fact, one of them was Brian's friend called Speedy. And he got shot, and I was a member of the 3 lads who were in prison. One of them got put down the block and he got shipped out. And then there was another 2 lads. One was called Bowler, lovely lad, coloured lad, good laugh, you know what I mean. And the other one was dead quiet, and you just wouldn't think. I didn't want to, out of respect for Bowler, and I would love to see a lot of Bowler. I think Bowler were, I can't quite remember his name. I would love to see a lot of him in there, because if he's ever watching this.
When was the last time you saw Brian?
Brian, a few years back now. We did get in touch with each other on the phone once. It's been a few years back since I got in touch with Brian.
I saw him 2 years ago. I went over, stayed at his house, went to a boxing show. But obviously his health is sadly, he's struggling walking, and from all the weight training and stuff like that.
Well, Matty, we're out of shadow of a doubt. He's got to be one of the top blokes in the northeast. You know what I mean? He was a big, strong lad. Yeah. And you know, if people could just be honest, you know, and I think he would have took some beating in the 1-to-1 fight. His strength, but I just know him as a lovely, cuddly bloke, you know. And
you've always got on with him.
I've always got on with Brian. He's just Brian, when he's your friend, he's got no ego about him. You know what I mean? He's your friend. He's a lovely natured lad.
He is, he is. If you're watching, Brian, lots of love, mate. I hope to see you soon. But he is. Yeah, I've always got him. I've stayed with him for the night and spoke to him on the phone many times. And
I hear people say daft stories on YouTube about them, you know. But what they didn't realise, I know for a fact that Brian's knocked some of these people out, and the big blokes, heavy blokes, and I know for a fact he got the wrong one.
Yeah.
He phoned us over, I got him, oh, Ernie, sorry, it was the wrong one, I got his brother, you know. And these are all, I'm not going to mention names, like the way they say things about me on YouTube, and I'm not going to mention the names. I don't want to lower myself their level of the story they've tell about us, you know. I'm not even going to go down that path, you know.
Oh, people have lied about your...
about what they've said, and you know, they're trying to act big, they call themselves the governor. Anyway, I'm not going to go on about it.
No.
Mine, I'm not underestimating the lads neither. I'm not trying to say I could ever beat these people either. Definitely not trying to say that. As I say, Matt, I deal with people, these things as they come. I'd rather get on with people. Obviously, I'm a lot older now, you know. If I could talk me well, I think, but I'll still hit them if I had it.